If you trade using ICT and SMC concept, it is important that you understand the higher time frame before you look for entries on the lower time frame. So this is a USDCHF trade that I took and I made 75 pips. In this video, I'm going to explain how I started my analysis, how I did my analysis from the higher time frame all the way to the lower time frame to look for entries. So this USDCHF trade setup, if you use lot size 0.1, that is what it's worth, 0.10 and 1 lot. So of course, as usual, I normally share my analysis in the group, and that's what I did. I shared it in my Telegram community. If you want to join, just check the link in my bio. So weekly outlook, that's the first thing, guys. Every week before you start your week, you need to do your analysis and try to identify, is this market bullish or bearish? And you need to understand market structure for you to do that. So every week on Sunday on YouTube, I do that. And in this case, we wanted to see a bullish USDCHF because the dollar, which is DXY, is bullish. We're expecting bullish moves. And if you look at this diagram, you can see we have this fair value gap. We also have this tiny fair value gap here, and we have this order block here. If my bias is bullish for the week, what I do, I'll need to use a higher time frame PDRE. So in this case, these are PDREs I've marked. I've marked this fair value gap. I've marked this tiny fair value gap. Also, there's this order block here. So what I need price to tag my higher time frame PDRE, which is now the daily PDRE. Once price tags it, then now I can move to the lower time frame to look for entries. And this is the explanation here. If you need this document, just join my free Telegram channel. I'll upload this. I will share this document there. So now on Wednesday, which was 29th October, you can see, so this was Monday, this is Tuesday. You can see Tuesday price tagged this daily order block. So once price has tagged this daily order block, at this point, I wanted to see price use this daily order block because it is my POI or my point of interest to push price higher because our bias is what? Our bias is bullish. So on Tuesday, we tagged it. So that's okay, which means now Wednesday is when now we're supposed to move to the lower time frame and look for confirmations before we look for entries. So there are some things that I look for. So first of all, the lower time frame of the daily is 1 hour. This is time frame alignment. 4 hour, 15 minutes is the lower time frame. If weekly is your higher time frame, 4 hours is your lower time frame. If 1 hour is your higher time frame, 5 minutes is your lower time frame. In this case, daily is my higher time frame, so lower time frame is what? The 1 hour. So on the lower time frame, this is where we look for confirmations before we get our entries. For me, I look for liquidity sweep. I look for SMT, although SMT is not compulsory. I look for change in state of delivery, and I look for market structure shift. So this is just ICT 2022 entry model in short. So if you come to our charts on the 1 hour time frame, this is what we have. You can see we swept this liquidity. So this is liquidity sweep. You can see this is our daily order block that was tagged on Tuesday. Already we have market structure shift. So after we got this market structure shift, we have a tiny fair value gap here. This here, if you look at this 1, 2, 3 candle, there's a tiny fair value gap there. So that fair value gap is what I was looking to use as my PDRE for entries. And you can see that's exactly what I did. This red, that red tiny, that's the fair value gap. So I used that for entry because already I have all my confirmation. Bias, check, confirmation, check. And I'll use any PDRE for entry. In this case, I'm using this fair value gap for entry. And as you can see, that is it. Price just plays out. And then finally, my TP was hit. This bullish candle here was FOMC. When FOMC news was being released, already I was in a trade. So FOMC was just used to drive price higher to my target. My target was some previous week high, previous day high. So that is what I use for target. Once you know what the higher time frame bias is or the direction of the higher time frame, it becomes easier for you to get good entries on the lower time frame and let the higher time frame narrative just drive price to your targets.